This is Carl with the three things I'm watching for Tuesday, September the 23rd. Big news in the market yesterday. Argentina suspending their export sales taxes on commodities through the end of October. The one that's going to take the biggest hit from that will be soybeans, mainly the products, soy meal, soy oil. That's why the soy complex had so much pressure yesterday. It came over from the products. The thing is, U.S. export demand on soybeans, soy oil, soy meal. I mean, we're holding our own. The thing is, we're down 36% from last year, mainly because we have no sales to China. Be interesting to see if China does buy oil or meal from Argentina on this. The quality of their product can be a little bit lower. I'm sure there'll be some purchases, but there's some reports that some off-grade soybeans from some of the other South American countries are making their way into Argentina to get crushed. Paraguay, Uruguay, a few of the other ones. We'll have to see. China's pretty big on their quality. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean they're going to buy it. And looking at China's soybean inventories, they might not buy anything. It's a negative factor at first blush, but we got to consider it's also, only a suspended through the end of October. So really might not be a factor when we get to our, what is typically our bigger export season. Speaking of exports, that takes us into our next topic, and that is corn demand. Our total corn commitments right now stand at 23.83 million metric tons. That is up 68% from last year at this time, the second largest corn book on record. And we are already at 32% of our yearly export sales projection. Our corn demand is not a problem. Matter of fact, last 3 days we had some pretty good flash sales, about 500,000 metric tons sold in just the last 3 days. So our corn demand definitely perking up and holding in there pretty strong. The thing is, on corn, trade continues to look at the production numbers. Now they are starting to back off. Even some of those ridiculously higher numbers have been trimmed, and I think there's more downward potential for U.S. corn yield. And buyers are showing up in anticipation of that, I do believe. Obviously, we're seeing some stockpiling from buyers at these prices. So corn holding in there pretty good. I wouldn't be too worried, but we're in front of harvest. And until we get harvest out of the way and get a better idea of yields, and until we can get this mindset away from production and back to demand corn, it's struggling, but it's not as bad as corn or wheat, or excuse me, soybeans and wheat. Third and final thing today, the New World screwworm found in Mexico, 70 miles from the U.S. border. At this point, it's just a matter of it's when, not if, the U.S. gets that flesh-eating disease in cattle. Market spiked higher yesterday, really for the only reason is this will keep the border closed for feeder cattle imports out of Mexico, and then we had a little bit of a bullish reaction to the cattle on feed report from last Friday. Uh, Argentina going to suspend their export taxes on beef and poultry through the end of October as well. That put some pressure on, not really pressure, but it took us off our highs yesterday. And a bit of a correction wouldn't come as too much of a shock today if we saw this market correct a little bit from yesterday. But the bottom line is we're watching that New World screwworm, and that is, like I said, the uncertainty is when that hits the U.S., we do not know what that'll do to demand, both consumer demand and export demand. So we'll watch that one a little bit closer as it's creeping in on that southern border. Those are the three things I'm watching today.